got a key and I've got a ring. It's time to go back to New Londo. Again. So, now, my agenda. Once again, to run past ghosts. But this time I have a different destination in mind. I need to run past ghosts until I reach the seal. The floodgates of New Londo. I have a key to this seal. And I have this ring. Covenant of Artorias, which allows me to traverse the abyss. I don't actually know what the abyss is, or why somebody would want to traverse it. But I have the ability to do that, so... yeah. Now there's a boot under my stamina bar. I'm guessing that boot represents traversal. Unless I suck, a single transient curse should be enough, and I've got 9 of them. New Londo. It really is hard to figure out the timeline of this place. Anor Londo was built, maybe 1,000 years ago or more. Kingseeker Frampt implied it's been at least 1,000 years. It's been 1,000 years since they've been expecting a chosen one among the undead. And Anor Londo was the home of the gods, the lords. But the city of New Londo, 4 kings. It was ruled by 4 kings who inherited, either then or later, Gwyn's power. So could it be that when Gwyn left Anor Londo, that is when New Londo was founded? And perhaps at the time, the residents of Anor Londo were not just enormous beings and painting guardians and, you know, giants who attack everyone on sight, but actual human beings, undead or otherwise. And so they founded this new city to live in. And I'm sure it was once very impressive. Certainly the location is quite something, and the great doors out the front and the castle walls and all that. It's an impressive place, but while other places have fallen into ruin, New Londo was cast down. Anor Londo, incidentally, does not seem to have fallen into ruin at all, but it's still abandoned and hostile. New Londo was sealed away by 3 mages because they did bad things here. Dark Wraith things. What a Dark Wraith is not entirely clear, but I don't think you want them doing things, like any things. Look at these ghosts. They come in quantity, and then they leave. That's positive. That's what I was hoping for, honestly. If 1 or 2 remain, so much the better. I will pick them off. But in fact, I don't think any will. So, there was a, now that I think about it, there was some machinery in the ghost house too, another part of New Londo. Unfortunately, a part I've already gone past. So, I may have missed something there. Key to the seal. So I may have to search somewhere else in New Londo as well. But first of all, this thing. Oh shit. Sorry, Drakes. Wow. Oh, they don't seem to mind. There we go. That big door was something of a Chekhov's door. I knew it was going to open at some point. gosh. Now I can descend to this somewhat grody floor of the city. It's a pity the door doesn't let any more light in than it does. Still gonna be dark here. Probably still ghost haunted. Does this contraption move? Yes. The contraption does in fact move. Cool. Oh dear. Oh my god. I thought the floor looked grody, but oh my god. These are piles of the dead. And it's some guy for some reason. What's he doing? Was that a dark wraith? Holy shit though. What the sealers did. They didn't evacuate New Londo before it was sealed. They just drowned it. Okay. It's not very nice. Eh? It's not gonna work. This Drake doesn't seem to want to fight me. I mean, he does and he doesn't. Can he not cross this area? Oh yeah, there we go. Now the Drake's got their groove back. Oh, there goes my groove. Oh geez, I had 66,000 souls. Well, this would be a good time to try out a shortcut. At least I think it's a shortcut. Rather than travelling through the ghost-haunted part of New Londo, what I can now do is I can take the elevator down to New Londo, the stairs out to the far end of the Valley of the Drakes, and then I can just walk along the Valley of the Drakes. Unfortunately, I've got to kill like 5 of them to use this quote shortcut unquote. The question is whether this is better or worse than running past ghosts. I'm actually thinking maybe the ghosts wouldn't be such a bad option. Although if I can get behind a Drake, I can make pretty quick work of them. It's hard to get behind 3 Drakes though. There it is, Tarquin's bloodstain. I've killed all these Drakes once before, when I climbed up to that tower thing. In fact, I should go back there, because there was some sort of mechanism which might now be active. So I have killed all the Drakes before. It was never actually captured on video, but I've done it. But as you can see, I just failed to do it a second time. Wow. There you go, 70,000 souls. Well, there are 2 positive sides to this. 3 positives even. I don't have any souls to lose anymore. so I don't have to be scared, and I can see the lower parts of the city. I noticed that not all of the water is gone. Finally, I can practice my run past mojo. I wonder if it would be safe to roll into those parts of New Londo. I don't really think it would be safe. I might do it anyway at some point, but I don't expect it to be safe. I can certainly get a better sense of the shape of the city. So this is where you can cross a narrow bridge and ghosts appear, get some treasure. And this is new, or at least new to me. This whole area you can stand on. There are some places which look like I might be able to fall off them safely here. It was never obvious that you could stand here before. Nice. Ah, yeah, there's a wall thing. I don't think that's the sort of wall I want to fall onto, though. New Londo is somehow bleaker when not flooded, or when less flooded. Its desolation feels less justified. You don't at least have the spreading pool of black water to make it like quasi-majestic. Now, there was a mechanism here. A contraption, perhaps I should say. Am I encumbered for some reason? 48 points. Yes, I am. Wow. I don't actually have the stamina to use the eagle shield and move fast right now. But that's okay, I don't need it right now. There are ghosts here, obviously. The room which was once such a bugbear to me. Still kind of dangerous. Ah! Ghosts hold considerably less terror for Tarquin than they once did. Okay, this is it. Yes. This is, I'm guessing, another route to the ground floor of New Londo. Everything's wet. Let's just leave it. Peace or humanity. Some wood. Oh my god. It's moving. What is that? What's happening? That noise. Ah, there's a guy. Oh shit, fuck. Wow. I wasn't expecting those things to happen to me. I guess it's time for another go at New Londo. But first I noticed something odd. The description of this Silver Knight shield. The Silver Knights stayed behind in New Londo to defend the illusory goddess. Huh? And other Silver Knight armor has similar descriptions. So, illusory. Now, combine with that the fact that it's been quite clearly stated, I think, both by loading screens and NPCs, that Gwyn's son Gwendolyn is the only deity remaining in Anor Londo. Who is this Guinevere? Does she, in fact, exist? Or was I talking to an illusion with an amazing chest ahead? I don't know about this. The Kingseeker exhorted me to have no misgivings nor guilt, but I'm doing the bidding of an illusion and a snake. I guess it's better than having the world just fall even further apart. I've discussed before why I will continue on. Well, why Tarquin will continue on. I'll continue on because it's a video game. So, I made some progress in New Londo before, on two different fronts. I found two elevators, both leading separately down into the lower level. And both times I was stymied. Once by foolishly attempting to access the Valley of the Drakes by taking on several drakes at once and being killed. The other time by running into a series of threats and eventually falling to what I think is a Dark Wraith. So the first thing I've got to do is decide which way to go this time. There. The second thing I've got to do is decide which way to go this time. The first thing I've got to do is kill this ghost. Fortunately I can kill him in one hit now. I would like to explore the main route, but there's two counts against it. It involves running past more ghosts, as in some, rather than none. This way doesn't involve running past anyone. And also, I left like 10,000 souls maybe on a bloodstain at the arguably secondary elevator. So, I'll go this way and try to recover them. Now the cool thing here is, if I turn left into the ghost house, I actually only have to fight that one ghost. The rest of them don't spring their ambush unless you head further into the room. So it's really not a hassle at all. This is arguably the faster way into New Londo unless you're really good at traversing the Valley of the Drakes very quickly. So there's a horrible monster thing here, and some perhaps dark wraiths in cages, except the monster thing is gone. So can we take it as given that those do not respawn? I guess so. I don't see why, they weren't particularly tough. But sure, I'll take it. Yo. Wraith guy. Oh my god. They actually look more like skeletal than anything. Now, if they hit me with that thing, it does. It knocks me down, stuns me for a long time, and does an extremely dangerous life drain. Life drain. Yes, I have heard this name. Specifically, there is some sort of power, possibly a sorcery, called life drain, and it was for that that the four kings sold out their people to these things. So yes, these have got to be the dark wraiths. But what are they, and where did they come from? Are they... I mean, alternatively, they could just be skeletons in heavy armor who've learned life drain from dark wraiths. Let's not jump to any conclusions about dark wraith status. They're a pain to fight, though, I'll tell you that. They're not super difficult in terms of having high stats, but they are dangerous. You have to be careful. Now that, enter through the white light, as opposed to traverse the white light. That's suspicious. That could be anything. Specifically, it could be the Abyss, which I don't really know what it is, but sounds dangerous. So, before going in there, definitely want to grab souls if I can and explore some more of the rest of the city. Although it's large and its layout is complex, and I kind of despair of being able to get through too much of it. Not that it would be too much, of course, it would just be, some. There's nothing normative about this. What I mean is that I don't think I'll be able to get through very much of it. Unless I'm, like, lucky and skilled. Fortunately, Tarquin Dark Souls is both those things. He has the soul of a brave warrior. It's official. That's a bit deceptive, isn't it? It didn't look like that hurt, but actually I did take falling damage from it. You've got to be careful. Ah, yes, this is, I think, where I went before. And this led me to... Aha! And there were some dangerous fights here. It may even have been this very guy who owned me before. But I think he had help. Wow. Stop attacking, seriously, dude. Just know when to give up. I'm holding up a shield, you won't be able to hurt me that way. Surely it's a waste of stamina for him. Actually, holy shit, in this game, you become so much more, quote, powerful, unquote, when you have the realization that you should only block when someone is attacking you. Imagine if enemies made the countervailing realization that they should only attack when you are not blocking. Imagine how difficult everything would be. That's probably an important principle for PvP, actually. Attacking into a block is just super wasteful. I'll have to remember that one. What is here? What is everywhere? Why can't I see anything? Oh my goodness. It's so dark. This is barely acceptable. Oh well. Filled with evil death water. Kind of completely lost track of where I am. I could use the fog gate as a landmark, I guess. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to try a slightly advanced tactic. There we go. Ah, okay. I two-handed in order to deal extra damage when it is vulnerable, but the extra damage does not change the number of hits it takes to kill him. So, there's no need to try and apply that right now. If I can increase my damage output, then sure. I'm just never quite sure if I'm going to fall off a cliff here. For example, I would have there if I kept running. Higher ground. Shit. And there are still ghosts too. Good thing I used a transient curse. Oh wow. 2 arguably dark wraiths and a ghost who I suppose is another candidate for being a dark wraith. Certainly wraiths. But I don't think that's it. I think they're just ghosts. Shit. Sorry for swearing. I know that was needless. Perhaps uncouth. I'm just kind of struggling to think of what I can do here other than circle strafing and hope that you leave me alone long enough to heal. I mean, they left me alone long enough to partially heal. That'll do. Ow. I mean, I kind of winning in damage trades. Like, at this rate, I might eventually defeat them. Or I just might die, depending on how it goes. Actually, what I've got to do, as I just accidentally did, leverage my range. There we go. I outranged them. That helps. Now, there was also a ghost up here. What are you in this thing? So, what the hell these are? I don't even... I'm glad I'm low down so it couldn't actually hit me. I feel like that was beneficial. Oh my god, I'm covered in galore. Holy shit. That sucked. Another try? Ugh. This is the real new Londo. This is so much more dangerous. The ghosts are one-trick ghosts. You have to learn their trick. You have to learn it very well. And as this, they can go through walls. But once you've got the idea of that, they're slow-moving. They only have one powerful attack. You just don't stand where they're attacking. And if you want to, you can run past large groups of them quite easily. But the enemies on the floor here is dangerous. Perhaps this is why people have spoken of New Londo with trepidation. I mean, the city was sealed because it was so terribly dangerous. So you'd actually almost hope there'd be something to justify it. Since I did notice these sealers had built vast corpse piles inadvertently. It was like driftwood, except drift corpses. Human flesh, many body upon body upon body, had all washed up into piles on the edges of the submerged buildings. It was in fact a vast and terrible massacre. So they better have had a fucking good reason. Would that have been, I wonder, the end of Lordran as a major power in the world? There are other countries, some surviving, I hope. Thorland, Astora, and so on. Kareem, unfortunately. Or fortunately, in Tarquin's case. But... whoop. Ow, it got me. Lordran was the land of the lords. The home, it was like the equivalent of Olympus. But it also had people in it. It was also a kingdom. It had kings. 4 kings, in fact. Oh. Wow. Okay, I don't need to worry about my souls anymore. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, Lordran had people, kings. I don't believe they were all undead at first. In fact, undeath seems to have been a Nito thing. Like... well, the whole thing is bound up with humanity, and humanity is bound up with the fire. The details of that are not clear yet, but I don't think Lordran was originally a land of the undead. The Undead Burg was a city of the undead. The Undead Burg came later. Anor Londo was a city of the lords. And I think of people at the time. Then Gwyn left, linked the fire, which was presumably necessary to avert some catastrophe or delay it. And New Londo was founded, later abandoned. So with the great city of New Londo gone, it was replaced by the Undead Burg, which is essentially... I mean, it was civilized. It was solid stone construction, but it's not that big, and it's just a bunch of houses stuck in between ancient walls. It represents a huge step downwards on the civilizational power and technological scale, in the same way that New Londo, I think, does from Anor Londo, because while this place in its heyday must have been quite something, it's no and it never was any Anor Londo. What does Anor even mean? Old? If Anor. And so, in conclusion, the sealing of New Londo would essentially have represented a time when Lordran largely ceased to matter to the world except as a home of legends. Not a place with real engagement in modern day politics, whatever those might be. Oh my god, I know why I died last time and why I nearly died just now. It's because I didn't use a transient curse. That was an expensive mistake. Yeah, I need to apologise to anyone watching this for that. In particular, I think Anna, maybe. I'm sorry. Next. This does go better when I can physically interact with the ghosts. On terms other than theirs. Normally I cut out walkbacks and death cycles when I die several times in an area, but I think this particular episode of the LP, you're going to get the unfiltered New Londo experience. It involves a lot of walking back from where you died. What's worse, you have to die first to enable that part. Why am I going down here this time? I have no need to. Because I can't recover souls, so I'm going to follow what I think is the main drag. I think that other path I was taking there is more along the lines of a shortcut or alternative route. The fact that it's next to a fog door makes me think this is where you go if you want to go through that fog door. I can't be certain, but it seems quite plausible. Oh, now what is that thing? I need to get a better look at that. Now that it's not covered in water. First I need to get to somewhere where I'm not covered in ghosts. And that means going up these stairs and then taking a look from the outside. Okay. Drake Valley. Yeah, that's could have been one of the entrances to Londo. Because the city, it is up there, I think. It's just, it's part of the world, doesn't have enough fidelity to represent it. Also, you can't really see Londo from anywhere. It's a deliberate decision, that, I think. Whereas this is something which is far too dark to see properly. Incredible. Whoa. Back down through the seal I go. Yeah, there's another thing. It represents a technological descent in the elevators. In Londo, they have automated spiraling elevators, which represent the kind of the spiraling theme of the city itself. Here they have elevators which activate with a button press. In the Undead Burg, they're like little cages rather than actual circular shafts. So it's already a step down there. And then in Blighttown, there's a fucking water wheel. I've been calling it a water wheel all this time. Not actually sure water was what was turning it, but you know, it might have been. It looked like a water wheel. It was a wooden elevator, is the point. It's a very bad elevator in comparison to the higher tech elevators of the earlier stages of Lordran civilization. So the Age of Fire has been an age of descent. And I think whatever Tarquin does, for it to be meaningful, he's going to need to do something which doesn't just reset things to whatever creeping destruction has come across Lordran. Well, there's kind of two things here. If you could break some sort of cycle, that would be worthwhile. If you could, you know, make it more than just resetting things, do whatever's necessary to allow the world to enter a state of progression rather than collapse, that would be fine. Alternatively, if Lordran is too far gone, or subject to such a cycle, that doesn't really matter compared to everywhere else in the world. It's just one country. It's the ancient home of the gods, or whatever, but it doesn't even predate the rest of the world. It's just, ultimately, it's just a place. And right now, it's a place with, I think, probably less living human civilization in it than literally everywhere else. So,